Good Saturday morning. Buddy Lee here, and in today's video we're going to quickly go over a product that got sent to me a few weeks back from Auxbeam lights. Excuse me. They were kind enough to send me out a light bar to install, test out, and for the most part just play with, and in tune do a video review on their product. They gave me a few options of sizes that I could choose from, and I chose, I think, a 32-inch because I believe that would best fit my application on my Toyota 4Runner. Been playing around with it for a few weeks now. Haven't got a chance to take it off-road, but I have been certainly been driving around with it. Not the bright part of it, but the low beam, if you will, of it, more or less is a fog lamp. Now I am actually going to be going on a 900-mile one-way road trip here in another week or two, and I think I'm going to be taking the 4Runner because my wife's cousin said that they're going to be calling for snow. So it's out in Kentucky, and I'm also going to be doing some job searching out there in the meantime, so keep your fingers crossed. But that should give me some more opportunities to go ahead and play with this light. But in the meantime, I want to go ahead and show you what it looks like, how I installed it, and my thoughts on it. So as you can see, I decided to place this light bar right below my front bumper. This is a 1998 Toyota 4Runner. I actually had a front valance that went like this underneath it, underneath it, and we took a Dremel and we carved out the middle of the plastic valance, and that tucked in nice and neat in there. It looked fucking awesome. But that same day that I installed it, I drove home because I had planned on coming back the following day for my buddy to help me wire this thing up. I got into a car accident. Now, I pushed the bumper in, blew my lights out, blew the grill out, ripped the front valance off, but you know what did survive was my light bar. I ended up, for the most part, pushing the ass end of a Honda Accord into the back seat with this thing, and the only thing that happened to this was it got pushed back and up behind the bumper. Now, if you can see, the only real damage that happened to it was on the cooling fins on the back. So I was already immediately impressed before I even had the damn thing working, just for the fact that it withstood a rear end impact in the vehicle. Now, the way that I had this installed was we went to a local hardware store in Hampton, Virginia, and picked up this 36 by maybe 1 inch, 1.5 inch piece of steel, not very thick. I'm not really too sure how thick that is. And we drilled a hole in the front part of this bumper right here, same as the other side too. And we ran a bolt and a washer and a nut here to hold this in place. We then took the Auxbeam hardware and then did our measurements, drilled holes in this piece of steel, and then put the mounts right there and over here. And then I dropped a level on it to level it out, and then I went ahead and tightened it up. Now, as far as their hardware goes, their hardware is very sturdy. The Allen screws that it comes with, I do like it. It's kind of an anti-theft thing. They have little pegs that come out of it to keep just anybody from being able to pull it out. I imagine if someone wanted to be an asshole enough, they could get that off if they wanted to, but they're certainly going to struggle with it. So we got that mounted, and I ran it up into the battery compartment here and then back into the cabin. Now, before I show you how I routed these cables, I'm going to let you know right now, the Navy did not teach me how to be an electrician or run wires, and I'm the type of guy who will turn off his entire fucking house to replace a light bulb. The way I have the wires routed is good now, but I do plan on cleaning them up later, so please don't give me any grief in the comments. Let's go ahead and pop the hood and take a look at this shit. Yes, I know, it looks terrible, but we have a power going to the switch and to the light, a negative going to the wiring harness, and something else I forget. The wiring harness itself they give you is outstanding. It's pretty fail-proof. You can't fuck this up. You really can't. The only issue I did have with it was when I ordered it, I received the wiring harness first, and it came in a padded manila envelope with no instructions. Followed by the light about a week later, again with no instructions. Now, anybody who's mechanically inclined can figure this out, and including myself, I did figure this out. But if this is, I would hope that for the sake of somebody who's on the lesser end of being, ooh, I lost my flash. On the lesser end of being mechanically inclined, they do throw some sort of instructions in there. Anyway, you get two relays, and then you have an inline fuse right here. I have everything zip tied up, I know. Here is where everything kind of channels together, and I have that ran into a hole that I drilled into the firewall, and I went out and bought some rubber grommets, and I put a rubber grommet there and ran it into the cab. Now let me show you real quick, because this is a bitch to get any sort of angle with a drill, to even on the inside, to get a hole in here. So I was very limited to the size of drill that I could, or drill bit that I could get in there. So let me show you how I ended up doing that. On this little white connector here, you will notice 4 little pins. Now, at the end of those pins, you will see a little tab. I took the smallest Allen key known to humankind, pushed those tabs in, and pulled those pins out of this white casing here. Now, be advised, I did this, and I would suggest that you guys do the same. Take a picture of this bitch before you start pulling these pins out, because there's a possibility you could mess it up. So I pulled the pins out of the white casing, and I just had pretty much, it was no thicker than this cable here, which then allowed me to run this whole cable from the inside through that hole with the grommet up in here. I then reinstalled the pins and then just plugged it back in, and it worked just fine. I'll go ahead and show you how I did the inside now. Okay, if you see right there where my light is flashing, there's my grommet. I actually kind of have to straighten it back out. That's where I ran it through, and it's coming in through the back of the access panel to my fuse box. What I did was I took a drill bit and I drilled a hole in that, and fed the wires through here first, actually, then ran it through the bottom and ran it back through there. So I thought it turned out pretty neat looking. I don't like, and I understand they're, it might be they build their products on an affordable aspect of it, but I do wish that they would change up the switches. I do not like those, and nothing against their product. I do, again, I do appreciate them sending this out to me, and I do plan on buying more products from them in the future, but I will be replacing this with a toggle and putting them here, because this is the space where Toyota put your toggles for your locking differentials and some other bullshit too that they had. So again, I do plan on replacing this. Sorry, Auxbeams, but think about it in the future, maybe throwing in even a cheaper plastic toggle switch, but I wasn't a big fan of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at it from the outside with them on, and then I will see you guys. Well, it's going to be a few hours because it's actually just sunlight now. So it'll be a few hours for me, but it'll be a couple seconds for you. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like at night. Here is what the low beam looks like at daytime. And I believe it's a 60 degree, spread on this light. Here is their high beam, if you will. This is a, if I'm not mistaken, a 30 degree beam, and that's pretty much just a straight shot out. And that's 18, focus, 18,000 lumens, which is more than enough light to see the way. Again, I haven't used this off-road yet, but the way that I do take to work through Gate 22, if you're familiar with Naval Station Norfolk, it goes back behind the runway, and it's kind of a windy road, and it gets real dark back there because all the trees and shit, and this thing lights the fucking sky up. But I am going to go get some coffee and head to Walmart to get some dog food and some bed liner, because I'm going to bed line the lower quarter of my doors down and my fender flares, which are off, and probably redo my bumpers today. And I will see you guys at nighttime to show you what these things look like at night. Alright, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to go ahead and show you guys what these things look like at night. Now, here are my regular lights. Those are the high beams. I'm going to put on the 60-degree spread low beam. As you can see, it's got a pretty good. Here's the high beam, 30-degree beam. Now, that blue right there is a dumpster. I'd say a good 75 yards away, so you're able to see that through the fence. You can turn both spreads on at the same time, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. And does it show anything? No, I got regular headlights on. Now I'm flashing the brights, and it just drowns them all out. So, but there you have it. That's pretty much it. I'm so far very, very thrilled with the end result. As I said before, I haven't been able to take them off-road yet, but you know, just going to work and using the low beams as somewhat of a driving light, and then taking the gate that I do to get on the base, you know, I can have fun with it. But I am planning, actually it's not even planning, I am taking a trip to Kentucky from the 16th of December to up to 2 weeks, and it's pretty backwoods up there, so I'm gonna have all the time in the world to be able to use those lights and really put them to the test, I guess. But that's it. I just need to find my couple other things. Oh, and here's my how the bed liner turned out. I did this project today. I thought it turned out pretty good. I'll do a quick walk around of that. I already know I did a video on it. I may or may not put the fender flares back on it. I like the look that they have with it on, but you know, the wheels stick out with them off, gives it kind of a cool look. But I don't know, I'll probably put them back on just for shits and giggles. But I came around the back with it. Came all the way up front this way. So that was that project. That's a separate video, but I'm gonna go ahead and batch this one together and upload it. I actually got a new camera in the mail today too, so I'm gonna set up all my gear to start filming on that one. That might be a day or two video, because it's obviously nighttime now, so I'm not going to be able to go outside and show you what the damn thing looks like quality at nighttime, but I'll be able to walk you through the functions, and I'll probably have it pieced together tomorrow. But alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and I will see you in the next project.